Like last week also we talked about how leadership impact in our new normal as everything changed now. So now we going to talk about the resilience and adaptability, how everyone trying to adapt with the new normal and what is the key factors towards it. Okay, so Doctor, maybe you can start with introduction or your presentation. So I will hand over
Okay.
the session to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Rosita, and thank you to all of you who are here today. I'll get straight to the point. The topic today that I will be talking about or sharing is this thing called resilience and adaptability. Not adaptability to resilience, but resilience to adaptability. And I will explain that in my about 45 minutes talk, leaving the last 10 minutes for Q&A, chit-chat, and I hope that we can have a very, very exciting and very, very stimulating discussion after this topic that I will be presenting. Okay, so without further ado, what I would do is I'm going to get you to my PowerPoint, and I will guide the whole talk through the PowerPoint here. Can you see the slide? Rojita, can you see the slide? Yes, okay. So what we're going to talk about, like I mentioned, is this thing called resilience and adaptability, and it's the key to today's success. And today represents the new normal, represents the post-COVID-19 era. And I'm Michael here, Dr. Michael here, and Rosita has already explained, so I won't go into any more details on that. Now, the objective of this talk that I will be doing for the next 40 minutes basically is to share some thoughts and ideas of mine on how we can strengthen resilience and adaptability so that we will succeed in this new normal. Resilience and adaptability is something very close to my heart because I had to do a lot of that in my life. From very young to today, I had to do these two things. And I'll explain afterwards as to what it is. And now, with this new normal, you know, the world has changed so much and there's no going back to the old ways already. It's a new starting line for everything. Everything about our life. It can be even our qualifications. It could also be the price on our house. Last time our house could get $1 million before the what you call the post-COVID time, but today we cannot maybe go for the 1 million. It may be like 500,000. Maybe it's 1.5 million. It's a new starting line on everything. So we all need to do this resilience and adaptability that I'd like to share. Now I want to show you this picture of mine. This nice picture. And this is really something that I would consider as what resilience and adaptability is. So what is resilience? Resilience is about bouncing back. You bounce back. You fail, but you can wake up. Some people fail, they can't wake up. So resilience is the ability to bounce back, just like a ball, the bounce back. Resilience is also about these few children down there who wanted to play football, and suddenly it rained, and they say, "Rain, so what? We can still have a game of football." So they turn an adverse situation into something conducive for them, and they are adaptable. They are without shirts, they are without shoes, and there's thunder, and there's water coming in, and they're able to adapt to this whole environment and yet play a nice game of football, something that I used to do when I was young as well. So this, in a way, kind of represents me. So now, why do we need to do that? This thing about resilience and adaptability, the bouncing back, and able to adjust it so that we sustain that behavior of ours for a long time. It's because of these many things that is happening to the world today. Social distancing. Something you and I have never, encountered. Nowadays, we don't shake hands. To the most, what I do to my friends, very close friends, we use the knuckle and we just touch each other knuckle, and that is our so-called handshake. We cannot hug one another to say, "Hey, long time no see." We cannot even get close to one another, even in restaurants. We are like so far apart, the family. a table for 10, but only like 5 people can sit. So there's a lot of distance down there. And that's the way it is. And when we queue up, we are so far from one another. That's why the queue is very, very long. You know what I mean? So, and this is the way of life. And we cannot say, why is this? And we complain about this. But it's not going to change. And if you're going to complain about it and refuse to change to that, then we are going to have very difficult times. So this is a fact of life that's happening. Then you have a lot of virtual engagements like you and me right now. We are, through virtual, all these things about Webex, about, Facebook Live, Zoom, Hangout. My God, I've never come across so many in my life. I never thought that I would be using all those things. But today I am using a lot of things, and I'm sure you all are also doing the same. engaging in a virtual way. And then mobility restricted. We can't go far. We still cannot travel overseas. Not at all, not even to Singapore, I think so. So we have friends, we have a travel bug in us, and we want to go out, we can't. Or sometimes even in our own hometown, restaurants are closed very, very early. 9 o'clock or 9:30 is the last order, and after that everybody pack up and you also have to go back home because nobody is having their life just like the way they had it before the COVID-19. So this is another scenario. So therefore, dear friends, we now have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Complain about this or do something about it? Now, health is a very, very big thing today. Everybody else is in a face mask. Okay? Not everybody, but you see a lot of people in face mask. They are just covering themselves because they are afraid, because they want to be healthy. At the same time, they don't want to spread the germs or their virus to anybody else. So everything is like all on health. You have to get your temperature monitored. You got to use your QR code to scan. You got to do everything. You got to wash your hand. You got to do all these things in the name of health. So that becomes something that we didn't have to worry so much about the last time, but now we really have to. Then, most of all this thing is happening at a time when there's an economic slowdown. Even enrollment, Rosita, I'm sure enrollment also must have dropped.
Yes, Doctor, exactly.
Dropped.
International students also.
All dropped. My
Yes.
business also dropped. Semua orang also, banyak also drop. Of course, there are people who make money, like all the Grab food people, like insurance companies. Okay, they still do make money in this time, but generally everybody is down. So there you are, dear friends. This is our scenario. So what are we going to do? Complain, cry, or do something about it? And definitely today we are talking about doing something about it. So, dear friends, let's talk about the first thing here called the resilience. Resilience and adaptability. Okay, resilience is a mindset. Okay, it's a mind. Adaptability is the skill. Okay, the action. Okay, let's clearly understand that. So, resilient, the mindset that sticks. That means when you have got a resilient mindset, you stick the following thing. You can bounce back fast from adversity. No one can put you down and you're going to remain there for the rest of your life. You're going to bounce back. You're going to bounce back. Whatever how hard life is, okay, we'll bounce back. Now, and we bounce back because we change the way we think. We say, why should we be out? I can be down, but why should I be out? So because you don't allow yourself to be out, you think yourself not on an out, but getting it up and about, then we start to think in a very resilient way. You feel, if you're sad, you ask yourself, why should I feel sad? I want to be happy. So you yourself try to reverse the way you think, because when you reverse the way you think, then the thing around your behavior will actually happen. Then the willingness, the will to fail and try again. That means I'm willing to fail for the sake of a longer term good, but I will try again, and I will try again, and I will try again. Then a mindset that is curious It's a curiosity mindset. That's always looking for, what are the new ways? How can I get there faster? How can I save more costs? How can I do this? How can I do that? So you're always, in the mind of thinking of making everything better for yourself. A continuous improvement, so to speak. And a person with a resilient mindset is also somebody who is very mastery or self-mastery in himself, where he knows that his emotions can either do good for him or emotions that will do bad for him. Like emotion that will look good for me or make me good would be a positive emotion, a happy emotion, as opposed to a negative emotion, a sad, a depressed emotion. And you are aware, to know how you are feeling. And when you know how you're feeling, then you always change the bad to become the good. And if it's good, better lah. Huh? You know what I mean? Then finally, toughness. To withstand any difficulty, we have high threshold. Okay? In our mind, we have that strength. We can push ourselves through in all kind of adversity. So this is the resilient mindset that we all need to have for us to bounce back from anything in life. Okay. Now, and resilient people, they do this. They like to prioritize and prioritize. Because why? They want to make things better. Today, something else is important. Tomorrow, that something else become lesser important because something else now is more important in our life. Like for instance, last time it's about making a lot of money, but when you have a family, suddenly, your family becomes first place, the money becomes second place. But some people don't know how to prioritize. They remain it as the way it is. As they go through life, nothing gets prioritized. So we don't change that. We don't change that, that whole continuum in the way we live. You know what I mean? Just like health now is important for people like me. Maybe when you're young, it isn't that important. Career is more important. Health second. But to me, for people like me at my age, health is the number one. Now, and they always define their goal. Like, if I have a goal, let's say, for instance, my goal is to become a good manager. Then I want to ask myself, why do I want to be a good manager? What do I get when I become a good manager? Is there something better than a manager that can get me better things? Or is it a manager that I should be? Or is it something else? So you're always elevating your goal and see that goal is big. We want big goals. We don't want small goals. When the goals are very, very small, it's only about losing weight. Let's say this losing weight, but you don't talk about health. You don't talk about social relationship. Then it becomes too narrow a goal. And that can also sometimes make us become very, very narrow in the way we think. Resilient people, they also build their resources. They always, for instance, save money for a rainy day. They save for a rainy day. Whether it's money or whether it's about getting their car in tip-top condition because they want to travel, so they don't want to break down. They're always very proactive. They always build. And they also have friends that they build along the way because they know when you grow old, a friendship is very, very important, and you build on your money, on your friendship, on your assets, or on anything that you have, okay, at all times. And they are people who also reflect on their past and learn their lessons so that they don't repeat the same old thing again and again. They always reflect, sit down, they think, they reflect, they pray, or whichever way, for them to remember the things that they have done, whether they are right, then I'll use more of it, or when I fail, I reduce on doing that. And resilient people, they are confident to take charge. They don't allow a situation to remain as it is. They don't want to be a victim. They want to take charge of things. And they collaborate with people. They always find friends where they can work together for something. It can also be for company's sake. I go to your house for a coffee. You come to my house for my coffee. Or we can go into a relationship of business. Or we're always looking out for alliance that we build around us. And that is also part of our resources that we build. And they are, because of that, they are optimistic, they are hopeful. So these are the things resilient people do. So dear friends, you got to ask yourself, how many of this are you currently practicing? And how many of this you still haven't? And maybe this could be your focus as we move on in this new normal. Okay, so this is about the resilient. Now let's look at the people who are adaptable. So adaptability is a set of skills, like mentioned just now. Minds, resilience is mindset, adaptability is skills. Skills that allow them to do these few things here. Number one is they have a critical eye. They notice what is wrong, what is not wrong. They can spot opportunity. They can see things very clearly. They are very observant people. They keep a mindset very observant. So because they are observant, they are always well prepared for a situation better than someone who is not observant and suddenly they are hit by a rock, you know what I mean? And then adaptability can become tougher. And adaptable people are people who also find ways to change to a situation quickly. Quickly. Like it can be a simple thing like when you're on a motorbike, okay, and you're on a bike, you are without a raincoat, and suddenly you see the rain coming. You quickly can go into a bus stop and quickly pull out your what do you call a raincoat, wear it, and go again. Or you get into the bus stop before the rain come, and you're protected from the rain. Although it rain, and you wait until the rain stop, and you're able to wait there for the rain to stop. Even the rain may take an hour or two, but you ask yourself, is it better for me to get back home, fast, or I should be here because it is so dangerous to go home. Okay, so they're quick, and they also adjust. They find ways, and they also adjust very quickly. You know what I mean? Like you go to someone's house or you go to someone's office these days. Some offices, they don't wear shoes in the office. They only wear their socks or even in their barefoot. And you can adjust yourself, take up your shoe, and you can feel, as comfortable as them, as rather than, oh, I'm not so used to walking on someone's an outside space, and my feet is clean, and now my feet is dirty, and you find yourself so uncomfortable in that kind of run. So you're able to adjust. You can compromise pretty easily. And of course, very important, the skills of patience and tolerance. So that's basically the adaptability skills of someone. So when we have these two, resilience, you mentioned the mindset, the things about bouncing back, and adaptability is the one that keep that change when you bounce back. The adaptive part is the one that takes that bouncing back into a nice space where you adjust to it before it becomes normal again. So that's the reason why I say resilience and adaptability is always together. Resilience first and then adaptability. Okay, dear friends, I have spoken for about, maybe like 20 minutes. So if I could, Regina, with your permission, and see whether there are any chats in the boxes for me to answer some question before I move on.
As of now, we don't have any question yet, Doctor. So maybe
Okay.
I can ask you some question.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so just now you said that resilience and adaptability should be together. So is it possible if that person only, he or she just resilience to one thing, but he cannot adapt?
Yeah.
And he only have one component of it.
Yeah, but it is like you're able to bounce back from failure. Let's say a divorce, okay? You are able to get over a divorce. Somebody get over a divorce. And she is like okay for a while. But if she doesn't have adaptability factor, she may also end up having another problem and requires another resilience, and then not have the adaptability to resolve it, and you go back to the same problem again and again. After a while, you get tired. After a while, you get fed up. After a while, you just give up. You know what I mean? So, so the adaptability is a longer term one that takes you through to change and make it become like a behavior to you. But the resilience is a one-off thing. Bam, I get out of it. But I need the adaptability to take me through.
So in any way, we can say that someone need to, to build the skill of adaptability, right, Doctor?
Yes, yes, all the time. And we have talked about adaptability even before the post-COVID time. Resilient is not a new word. Resilient and adaptability, they are not new words. These are words actually were used even before the COVID-19. But why is it becoming so important right now? Because that time when we talk about resilience and adaptability, we still got time to wait, no. But now the COVID, is a crisis that changed everything. So we have to be like resilient right now. We have to be adaptable right now because we don't have time to wait.
Yeah.
So everything has been pushed faster for us. So a word that we talk about now is going to be a word that we really have to put into practice. I hope I answered your question, Vijita.
Yeah, sure. Yes, right.
You ask good questions as well.
So we have a question from the audience? Not yet.
Yeah, from the audience, it'd be good if someone of you can share or even ask a question for a little bit of discussion so that we don't make this presentation too dull for you all. I would really appreciate someone with just one chat message. That would be really good.
As of now, we don't have yet, Doctor. So maybe we can proceed while we are waiting for a few questions from the audience.
Okay, so we now clearly understand what resilience and adaptability is. One is a mindset, one is a set of skills, and when the two combine, well, we really can become, very, very what they call happy in this post-COVID time. So now let's explore on some of the how. How can we actually build resilience? How can we actually build adaptability in ourselves? So I will go into the first one here called resilience. Now, resilience. A resilient mind can be strengthened when we do the following thing. Number one, we stay purposeful in our life. We want to be somebody who always find a meaning to life. We are not here to earn a tree living, or sometimes we say in our Malaysian language, we only cari makan. Everything is cari makan. If you go on a cari makan thing, it will be difficult for you to stay purposeful. It's difficult to stay purposeful. And when something happens to you, you go kilang kabut because you don't have a passion, you don't have a set of values that you have, you don't have a focused goal, that you have. It's just like, for instance, around this time, so many restaurants, so many shops, they just close. And I always ask the question, I have two restaurants, one restaurant, same row, closed, but another restaurant is open. So both are in the restaurant business. How come both don't close? How come both don't open? And then I studied, there's one near my neighborhood, COVID time, and they have been around. Good time, bad time, and they're still around. Why? Because it's a very strong brand name. They are very, very committed to delivering, serving good food. They take care of their customers. They are serious about their business. So these people are resilient. So in the same way, like yourself, like ourselves, we got to ask ourselves the question: why are we here in this world? We got to ask that question. Are we here just because God made us here and we just carry on doing what we think we should do, or there is something more meaningful in our life? So purposeful people, when they have one, they are very high in their self-awareness. Number two, resilient people are strengthened because they are people who stay calm. Two words here. They are calm. They are calm people. When they are calm people, when you're resilient, when things strike you, when you are calm, you can take it in a much more better way. But if you are in a haphazard way, just like a tire punctured, in the middle of the road, if you are calm, oh, tire punctured, you say you're calm. Also, oh my God, die. The tire, got burst, And two people, they will react to that situation in a different way altogether. So calmness is important, and that's the reason why even in today's world, we have yoga classes, we got meditation classes, we got all kinds of classes, even prayer classes, to help people to become. That's one. The other one is presence. Presence here means, in other words, we live for the moment. We only want to think about this moment that we are in, and we make the best of whatever that we have. We don't want to worry about the past, or we get stressful about the future, but we are always very calm people and very present people, and that would actually help us to have a strong self, a strong self. The third one is we always look for this word here called reframe. Reframe negative perceptions to positive ones. Reframe is like changing the frame of a photo frame in your house. When you take off an old frame and put in a new frame, the new frame will make the picture look so nice. But if it's on an old frame, the picture may not look so nice. So it's the same thing with our mind. We reframe. When something is bad, we always ask a question, what is something good that I can draw from here? If I fail, we ask ourselves, what is a lesson that I have gained from here? When someone is very bad to us or shout at us, we reframe it from anger to, I feel sorry for him, he has to do this, and we always have a mind who always look at the bright side of things. And that is called a resilient person. And the other thing is, a resilient person is somebody who accept and can be detached. Accept means, well, what to do? COVID is here. This is the case. Now, people have to wear masks. What to do? People have to protect themselves. So I accept. I accept. I accept. Okay? Rather than I don't accept. I argue. I fight. And all that. And the other one is detach. Detach means we don't want to be too emotional about certain things that we have to give away. Detach, for instance, okay, about 1.5 months ago, my dear dog died. A dog that I have for the last 14 years, 14 years. I'm so attached to the dog, so attached. When she died, of course, the sadness and the sorrow is there. So there's still an attachment to the dog. But if I don't detach, till today, I will be suffering, and will be in pain, So that can be for many things in life. Sometimes it's like a car. Bad times we say change the car, smaller car. But say no, I cannot change the car. I'm a big man. I'm a professor, so I must drive big car. But someone who say that, yeah, big car, what to do? You cannot afford. Never mind lah. You just get a small car. As long as you still can sit inside, still safe, it's okay. And they are able to detach from anything. So when people can accept and detach, they usually have a very strong resilient mindset. Now, number 5. And they are always looking around for people they find people interesting. They look at people, they find that he's curious about them, he's interested in people. So he built social relationship around them. There are people who have friends with them. There are people who have got resources with them. They got friends who are a lawyer, they have friends who got a doctor, they have friends who is a gardener, they have a friend who's a housewife, they have got a wide array of friends. And that's a good thing about when someone have a resilient mindset. And finally, the last one here. And they practice their skills. They keep staying purposeful. Still want to become more and more calm. They learn to refrain even better. They learn to accept, they learn to detach faster and build relationship, and they want to grow their friends, and they're always doing that. So these skills becomes very strong in them. So these are the things that make a person resilient. Okay. Now, how do we recognize them? People who are resilient. Number 1, there are people who are very confident. They have self-efficacy. They always have hope in life. They do something, they don't think, yeah, sure, fail. They don't say that. They think, I think I'll succeed. I think I got a big chance to succeed. They always have that belief in themselves. And high security. They don't have to talk a lot. They are people who can be very quiet and still be very assured of themselves that they don't look stupid if they keep themselves quiet because they are very assured of themselves in whatever that they do. They don't have to tell people I'm a dato or I'm a doctor. They just tell my name is Ali Akau. And it's okay. They don't have to tell about their titles. They don't have to tell how many cars they have, how much money they have in the bank. They don't have to tell you all those things because they are very self-assured people. Okay, these are the characteristics of resilient people. The third one, they are strong with problem solving. They can solve problems. Something happens because of their very high efficacy and their high self-security. So for them to solve problems, issues, they find a way out because they are resourceful. And mention again, you look at a friend down there, they have many friends, they can call, people who talk to them, they are always busy going out somewhere, people. So their social life usually is a little bit more active than someone who is, housebound and they don't mix around very, very much. Now, and they are not afraid to ask for help if they need to. Some people don't dare to ask for help. They rather do things themselves. Managers is one. They rather do the things themselves. They don't want to delegate because they are afraid to tell someone to do a job for them. So they rather do it themselves. So many people will do a lot of things for themselves because they dare not ask. They're so afraid people get angry with them or they feel that they do not have the rights to ask people. So when you don't ask, then you undergo more suffering because something that you can't solve, someone else can help you to solve. It's just like they can't solve and you can also help them to solve. So we are always in that kind of you help me, I help you. You give some, you take some, that kind of thing. And the other characteristic of a resilient person is they are a survivor. They don't have cry every day, and tell themselves how bad life is, complain how unhappy how unfair God is to them, or how life is unfair to them. They take charge. Okay? So these are the characteristics of resilient people. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and see whether there are any chats that come in before I continue.
Okay, Doctor, before proceed with a question from the audience, I just have one question. Okay, to talk about adaptability. So it's much related to, is it related to our attitude? So let's say ego. So that person is so ego. So that's why he don't want to, it's not to say that he don't want to adapt with the situation. It's just that he don't want to lower his ego,
Yeah. He doesn't accept and he doesn't want to be detached.
Yes.
Yeah. There you are. Yeah, correct. It is everything springs from an attitude, a mindset. Everything. It's just like when you look at a situation and you look at it like look at somebody and you say this fella, I don't like his face, and because you say that, your heart will feel very different about this person.
Yes, true.
And then your action will be you walk away, you don't talk to him, or if you will talk to him, you talk in a not so friendly way. So it's all back to the mindset of our people. So people who are very simple in life, people who are very, in our Malaysian language, we say very chincai, very easy to be pleased, we become very adaptable and very resilient very easily. When we are, like we say, sombong, ini tak boleh, itu tak boleh, everything must be this way, not this way, it's my way or the highway, we say that, So these people will have a harder time trying to cope with resilience and adaptability. Yeah, certainly so.
So actually, Doctor, all leaders should, not all leaders, I mean leaders and also the person itself, we should have this characteristic, right?
Everyone, even our children, when they are young, we want to build resilience and adaptability in them. Like for instance, we don't want to spoil our children and give them everything. When you give them everything, then in other words, they live in a world of make believe. They think that even when they grow old, mommy and daddy will give them everything. You know what I mean? No? So they need to suffer. Sometimes they may say, okay, today we're not going to have all the daging. Today we just eat vegetable. Or today we eat bread. So let them get used to bread, resilience, okay? I'll be a bit hungry because I want rice, but now I want to do this to train me up. So then the kid, slowly when they grow up, they become very resilient and very adaptable. And that's why our we parents will be very, very puas-hati and also very, very peaceful in our mind when they are out, for a party or they go study in other states. We don't have to worry so much about them because we know that they are resilient. They can handle toughness of university life or college life or hostel life, and they are able to adapt to now no more aircon, now only kipas only, or now no more good food every day. You can only have good food one time in a day. That kind of thing. So they are okay. Otherwise, they will come back home.
True.
They say, I don't want to study anymore.
They
It's
have to
tough.
wash their, do their laundry
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah, yeah. So it's something very, very important that we all must have. All leaders must have. Everyone must have. Okay.
Another question that we have is from our friend from Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, how to cope with people who are resistant to change given the current situation? How to cope with people that you don't want to
Okay.
change?
Yeah. To cope with people who are resistant to change, we ourselves have to be resilient and adaptable.
Back
You know what I
to
mean?
that
Yeah.
characteristic.
Back to yourself. Okay. So now you have a hard case. Somebody who's resistant, somebody who's very stubborn. It's same thing like facing economic downturn, no money, no business, summer. The scenario is summer. You're facing a tough time right now. Like in this case, you're facing with someone who is resistant to change. So resilience. Where does the resilience come from? Where you tell yourself, I am not going to feel angry with this guy. I am still going to feel okay with this guy. I am going to feel that I am not going to give up on this guy. Resilient, people. I'm not going to give up. Okay. Resilient again. They always look for how can I make him like me. Resilient people always look for connection. So they don't allow what you call somebody difficult like this and get angry and become an enemy. They will find a way how to win him over. Because if I can win him over to my side, make him like me a little bit, then he become less resistant. Then I can handle him. At the same time, even though he may not have changed yet, this guy, you're adaptable, you don't mind trying again and again a few times with this guy and not giving up. You are facing discomfort because you're talking to somebody who's like this kind, and you're able to be patient and still, try very hard. So some way or another, you succeed because you are resilient and adaptable in handling people who are resistant to change. So everything go back to us again.
So
You
if
ask
we,
a question.
how to cope if that we teach ourselves how to
Yeah,
be resilient and
that's
adapted
right.
to
Yeah,
that person.
yeah. And when we will also teach the other person to be resilient and adaptable. And he will also teach or she will teach somebody else to be resilient and adaptable in their own way. So in the world, you have many, many people who are resilient and adaptable.
Hmm.
In
Okay.
the sense of the word.
Okay, another question.
Very good.
Okay, we are talking about IR 4.0 these few years, but yet people are still not into it. But suddenly, due to COVID-19, everyone has jumped into 4.0 era. For your opinion, Doctor, how can a person survive in this era if they don't want to change?
Exactly.
Back to
Very,
my
very
question
good
just now,
question.
ego.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, like I mentioned, the HR 4.0 or many, many things, including resilience and adaptability, are things that we talk about even before the COVID time.
Mm-mm.
The COVID time just make everything faster. So suddenly right now we are in HR 4.0. So, and we are not prepared because we thought the time when we had a 4.0, we thought there will be a few more years to come. We can drag our feet a little, drag here, drag there. But sekali, this thing came about, so we really have to get into there. So now it's like we are caught with our pants down, in the sense of the word. And if you are not resilient and adaptable, suddenly you're pushed to that, then you are going to have a hard time. So this is where we have to be resilient and adaptable based on all the things that I have just shared with you. These very things that you have, are the things that we need to have so that we can embrace HR 4.0. We embrace what we call digitization. Last time we talked about internet, social media. Many people still don't want to. People at my age, they would say, I can still wait, can still wait. But now cannot wait. You don't have that. You cannot even make your food delivery. You don't know how to use the phone, download an app and call for food. You cannot take a Grab car when you want to. You cannot do so many things because everything is digitized already. Even air tickets are all done. Travel agency are going to have a very hard time. Maybe there won't be any more travel agency anymore.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Everything is straight to the producer, straight to the principal, straight to everything. So we just have to get there through resilience and adaptability. No choice. We just have to right now. Thank you so much for all your questions. All right. Is that all the questions we have?
Yeah. So as
Okay.
of now, that's the question.
Okay. Very good. So I have another 15 minutes more to go or lesser than that. Let me check on my time. Yeah, just less than that. I will go into the adaptable people. The people who have this adaptability. Now, these skills, what we call resilience is a mindset. We do this. Change our thought process. Always look for new way of doing things. Like for instance, even driving a car. You're so used to one route or you're jogging, you're always used to one route. Tell yourself, this time I change to another route. Huh? And take a longer route. Okay, take a route that has more trees, as opposed to take a road that has a lot of cars. You change that. Food is the same thing. You've been eating a lot of meat. Tell yourself, why don't I just change and go into a vegetable diet for a little while? So you're able to change that. So there, and that will make our thoughts become very, very flexible. And take risks. Take risks. We need to have the courage to take risks. You cannot play safe anymore. We have to do that. Open-minded, ready for anything, so that we will embrace new ideas, new thoughts, new things. And when we are open-minded, we also attract more people who want to make friends with us because we're open-minded. So everything gains from there. And embrace learning. Learn, read, like especially now. For instance, embrace learning can be a simple thing like every day we check to find out how many COVID cases are there today. We are monitoring that ourselves because we don't know how healthy is the environment out there. We go into things like how to protect ourselves. We go into everything of that kind, or even learning the social media. Just keep learning and making ourselves more and more, skillful. And compromise. Learn to compromise. Sometimes it's letting people win, and we don't mind losing a little. Sometimes let people have a bit more than us. Sometimes let people talk more than us. Sometimes let people talk first than us. You're always a compromise to not that you must always be the first one. And focus on improving and not about proving to anyone. Okay, we always focus on that so that we become better and better and better. And think about your thinking. Think about your thought. Hey, what am I thinking right now? Are my thoughts helpful? You can stop for a little while and then you ask yourself how you're thinking and whether those thoughts of yours are making you feeling better or making you feel worse. And finally, practice the thought process, like taking new roles, like learning new things, like doing all these things, and that will help us to have the adaptability skills. Now, how do you recognize them? These are people who are very forward-looking. These are people who are very hands-on. Okay, they experiment, they dirty their hands. And that's very important for leaders especially. Many leaders are not hands-on. They are very good in shouting orders, but they are not hands-on. Some parents are the same. They want other people to do the job. They throw orders, but they themselves don't do anything at all. And the other thing is take risks where others see as risky. I mentioned it again. Yeah, be adventurous. Be adventurous. Take certain risks. Go to a restaurant that you have never eaten before and say that I'll try the food. Never mind. If it's not good, it's okay. I learned from that, but it's good. Can you imagine? I found a new restaurant. It's that kind of thing that we will always tell ourselves to do. And think of the big picture. Think big, with a big heart of how we can gain. What can the goal do for us and for others? What is a better goal, bigger goal than the goal that I have? So when we ask ourselves this kind of questions, then we will always become very adaptable. And finally, of course, we talk positively to ourselves. We stroke ourselves. We love ourselves. We care for ourselves. So when we love ourselves, then that will be love that we can share with others as well. So these are the characteristics of adaptable people. So can you imagine when you have the characteristics of the resilient people and when you have the characteristics of the adaptable people together, you don't need anybody, you don't need any other skills already. Every skill is they are already in here. And of course, the other thing is don't blame others as well. Yeah, be nice people. And finally, of course, stay curious, stay current all the time. And finally, open-minded. So that's about resilience and adaptability. Now, I want to leave these words behind for you so that we stay resilient and adaptable. Will be this thing here. We got to get rid of comfort zone. We cannot be staying comfortable. Sometimes we say we stay there, we start growing fat, we don't move, We are so stuck in one place, doing the same thing, eating the same thing, having the same friend, having the same activity. Nothing changes in everything in your life. That is called comfort zone. This is something we need to get rid of. Number two, complacency. You are just satisfied with what you have today. But the world doesn't allow that anymore for us because we do not know what is going to happen with the COVID-19, whether there'll be another attack of COVID-19, whether there'll be something else, on top of COVID-19. We really do not know. No? So if we stay complacent and still think that the world owes us a living, everything is still handed on my palms of my hand, then these people would have a hard time as time, moves forward. And thirdly, getting rid of rigidity. Okay, rigidity and comfort zone, they can be, you can say they are almost like together. But rigid people are also people who refuse to give in. They hold absolute truth. They tell themselves that they are right. They tell themselves that what they do, they are the best. They have the best answer for everything. Okay, and what they like is something everybody must like, and what they don't like is something people must not like. So people who are rigid and not flexible, they will have an issue. So please do get rid of it. And finally, of course, is don't play safe. Playing safe, everything you play safe. You're so afraid to hurt people. You're so afraid to make someone displeased. You're so afraid of having a little bit of discomfort, and because of that, you stay still. So you're back again to your comfort zone, and you don't really grow. So, dear friends, these are some of those things that I like to leave behind for you. And with that, I should say thank you very much. And you can contact me over here for anything that you may want to know, or even the things that we do that you can be part of. And finally, of course, let's have a chat. If you have any questions, this is the time before we end the session. All to you, Rojita. If there are no questions, you have to ask all the questions already. I can't hear you.
Okay, Doctor, we have another two questions from
Okay.
our MBA students.
Okay.
Question number one, is preparing mindset to be resilient and adaptable to change for uncertainty is necessary when change are happening, or we should be prepared for future uncertainty?
We should be doing the change right now. We have to be prepared and we have to be doing it right now. We cannot be sitting down here and prepare for something because the preparation is like over. Now it's for us to be in action. So we cannot sit down there and wait for the coconut to fall down. We have to now wait for the durian to fall down. Now is the durian season.
Yeah.
We will have to, we have to go out now and start doing something now. And the faster we can go forward, the more proactive we are, I think we will have greater happiness and success than someone who is very, very slow to be resilient and adaptable. So that's my answer.
Okay, another question is how to help people who resist hard to adapt change like new normal nowadays?
How to help them?
Yeah.
Oh, then you got to help yourself first, huh? Like mentioned, huh? We have to help ourselves. Well, how to help them? Hmm. A lot will depend. A lot will depend on you, this person, our commitment. If we are very committed to helping someone, no matter how bad they are, because of the commitment that we have, because of the higher purpose that we have in one. Let's say, for instance, we have a son, and our son is a naughty boy, and he's very naughty. Okay, he go to school, he fight, the teacher don't like him, and get him out of the class, and so forth. Many people would give up on this kid. They don't even want to mix with him. They don't even bother about him. Maybe the teacher also don't want to do anything to change the kid because there isn't enough commitment from the part of the teacher for the kid. But the mother or the father of the kid, and because they are our children, usually we have got greater commitment. We will go all out, and that is resilience. Huh? We will go all out and through time, adaptability to see the kid change. So, and usually when the kid also know, like the parents are very interested in their growth, very concerned about their growth, and doing everything for them. Sometimes kids, even staff, they look at their leader and say that, wow, they are really doing so much for me. I think I should at least, change, if not for me, but I've changed for them. You know what I mean? So, so that would be my answer to it. Our sense of commitment and the higher purpose that we have for this particular person, that would make us do it for them. And that's my answer, Rita.
Okay, okay, Doctor. Seems we have another question. This is from Professor Madhya Dr. Melan.
Okay.
Two different things of organization between government and industry based on working culture and how to break through. I mean, from the top to lower down of people in the organization.
The leader, the usual answer. The leader who's very committed to this, not a leader who talk about it, not a leader who throws slogans, in the air about people must be resilient, people must be committed. But if this person doesn't demonstrate it, he doesn't live it out, this guy, and getting his team of C-suite executive who work with him, the expo team, getting them to be aligned to him. If they are aligned to him, then for these exco leaders to do that for their various strategic units, their departments, it will become easier. So this is something that you cannot work from the bottom and going up. Resilience and adaptability is something that has to be right at the top. We have no more choice. The moment you're weak, everything else is weak. In the old days, maybe you can still survive because times are good. So a product gets sold by itself. There isn't much need for great promotion because the product is good. But today is different. You can have the best product then, but today it may not be one. You have to fight for that position. So leaders, dear leaders, you really have to not only believe in that, you have to demonstrate that. You got to live it out. Those things for your organization to be resilient and adaptable, and more so with governmental organization as compared to private sector, because private sector, it's owner based. It is somebody's pocket, and that somebody is actually maybe working in that company. As far as the government is concerned, everyone is an employee to a government. You know what I mean? So the accountability sometimes it's not there. That's great, and this is with due respect to government department. I'm not running any of them down, but the urge, the desire to excel in some governments, not all governments, because I know of great governments, like the Singapore governments, okay, are great governments, like the Swiss governments, okay, they are great governments, and all that. But there are some governments whereby that mindset, the comfort zone, the staying, safe, those things that I mentioned, this thing that I mentioned earlier on, this thing here, their comfort zone, they are complacent, they are very rigid, the process very, very long, they want to play safe so that they don't lose out, so they don't get themselves in trouble. So as long as we have this, It's difficult for us to be that. So whether we are government department or non-government department, we got to get rid of this thing for us to stay resilient and adaptable.
Okay, Doctor, just
Thank
now
you.
let me correct the name of Professor Prof. Madya, Dr. Mustaqim Melan. Just
Okay.
now. Because the name appear is Dr. Melan. So hi Dr.
Okay.
Mustaqim.
All right.
Okay, we have
Okay.
a few question more, Doctor.
Wow.
Wait,
Very happy.
see from Facebook. Okay, how to develop resilience when we are reliant people?
When they are,
When we are reliant people.
what do you mean by that?
You mean rely on others? Yeah,
Oh,
when we rely on others.
yeah, when you rely on others and you're too dependent on others, to build resilience and adaptability is almost very difficult because you're not standing on your own feet. You are dependent. You live on someone's advice. You live. It's going to be difficult. So those people who are very not very independent people, they will have a hard time now because you know what I mean. Life is tough, huh?
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So in anyhow, we have to be, I mean, independent first. Then we can be resilient and
Yes,
adaptable.
that's right. And when you become independent, you already move a step towards resilience and adaptability already, you know what I mean? Because you make decisions on your own already. You decide what you want to do, you decide what you want to eat. So these are some of those things that you do. Lah. Good. Another one?
Any more? So far, that's all the question.
Okay.
Actually, we
All
have
right.
one more, but still, I'm waiting for the Mr. Kamaldin, but the question is not appear yet.
Okay.
Just now he said he want to ask question, but since until now we don't have the question yet.
Oh, the question that doesn't have resilience. Bounce to the screen.
Yeah, back to the question from Dr. Mustaqim just now. So he add on like, you mean training and communication are the most important organization in making resilience?
The what organization?
You mean training and communication are the most important organization in making resilience?
Training. No, I embracing learning and training are two different things altogether. When you embrace learning even in your own home. You are studying the internet. Training sometimes can be too mechanical, putting people through programs, through theoretical programs, but there's no action on their skills. It will not still turn them into anybody good. You know what I mean? Not. There are many people that I know who attend training after training, but they are still the same because it's all theoretical. You know? It is actually creating opportunities for us to test out our resilience. We have a chance to do that. Let's say I will giving an example like children. How do we make our children resilient and adaptable? Sometimes we don't give them good food to eat. We just eat normal food. Or like for instance, like right now, okay, December come, nobody's going to go on holiday, but some children may expect the parents to take them on holiday. When it comes to the end of the year, but now it's like no holiday because no flights or it's too expensive, it's not safe. So children therefore also now have a chance to practice out that. So the practice of resilience and adaptability is greater than the training in resilience and adaptability. I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay, Doctor. So now like we don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Audience.
Thank you so much to all of you. It's been a great session. I'm so glad that there are so many chats that came in that shows that we are also, keen to know and to be able to be resilient and adaptable. And yes, and this is really the way to go forward. And I really wish you all the very best to come. And see you all. I have another session on the 28th of September. I know it's a long way off. And when it does come nearer, I will be letting you know as to what I'll be talking about. Okay, all to you, Bujita.
Okay, Doctor. So thank you so much for the session today. So we hope to see you soon on 28, as you mentioned just now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Doctor. Till we meet again.
Thank you so much to you and to everyone for the
Yeah,
great session. Bye bye.